Hello, everyone. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, or wherever you happen to be, and thank you once again for your poor decision making in coming to watch us go through another game. It's been a while. I'm sorry. This is technically episode 3 of Chalice, the Chase, with a good 4-month gap between 2 and 3. We're doing well. I'm doing super brilliantly. So, before we jump on straight ahead of ourselves and catch up, let's do a quick run around and say hello to everyone, because for those eagle-eyed amongst you may see a new face amongst the masses. So we will start with someone completely different, and we'll start with Billy.
Hello, I'm the different Billy. I'm not the one from before, definitely not. Today, and hopefully in the future, we'll see. I'll be playing Subil, but we'll find out.
Yes, we will. And with that, we will jump straight over and say hello to CJ.
Hi everyone, my name's CJ, and my pronouns are they, them. I'll be playing Kylan, whose pronouns are also they, them. I'm excited to be here.
We'll quash that, don't worry.
Try.
And, don't you tempt me.
I don't think he has to try.
Yeah. Max, you spoke first. You can be next.
Hi, I'm Max. I'm playing Jules. Yeah, so I hope things all go well, and I stay playing Jules for the episodes to come.
We all hope things. And finally, of course, Holly.
Hi, I'm Holly. Don't know why I came back, honestly, but I play Violet. Hopefully she'll stick around for a bit. Because I'd actually quite like to play this one for a while before I have to use brain power to make another one. But, we'll find out what happens. Yes, I don't know.
Best I can give you is 2 sessions.
That's more than I was hoping.
Yeah, that's more than usual.
Yeah, it's generous.
I am a generous man. And I am, of course, Ben, as per usual, wandering around archiving the various arcane atrocities of our little group here and leading us through the next part of the story. I can see our local tech wizard in the background making noise, and I'm going to continue to ignore him. So we get ready to jump into the session. And before we even do that, though, we have a wonderful intro to run. So please, man behind the scenes. Well, I hope you enjoyed our intro. Danny spent about 10 minutes making that. Well, welcome back, everyone, and thank you for holding with us through that as we get ready to jump on in and see exactly where we left everyone. Now, normally, this is the moment I would turn to the party and ask who would like to offer themselves up to recount the last session. But, as I said earlier, 4 months, so, let's not assume too much here. For the note, for the future when we do that, you get a whole extra card when you draw your initial free if you successfully recount. So, hey.
So I've got to do it successfully?
Within reason. Go on, you can try if you'd like.
No, I don't want to try, I'm just saying I'm not going to do it successfully.
I mean, I haven't got my timer, so... Well, in which case, shall we just get on with it? We find ourselves, once again, on the waters of the eternal sea of Chalice, deep in Dowry, where, as the sun begins to rise over the town, or the town of Morristown, I really should have picked a different name for the town of Morristown, we see a large cargo ship slowly making its way to dock. At its helm, a angry, embittered person who has spent their entire lives on the ship, glaring at it with their one good eye, whilst they know below decks, the 2 members of their crew still sleep, and their passengers, hopefully, sleep. Through each room we find, curled up in their beds, Violet, the recent stowaway who's found herself in an odd position around people she's never really met before, and somewhat press-ganged into being there at this point. Up until a few hours ago, she was quite happy sleeping in her box in the cargo deck and stealing peanuts, but, sometimes upward momentum in life isn't really optional. Now she has a bed and no peanuts, so, take what you can. The next room over, quietly curled up in a fort of a child's making, Jules sleeps as soundly as possible, clutching the small, slowly, lightly exhalating form of Sam, who is cuddled in as closely as he can, holding a little owl tulip. The next room over, someone awakes slightly more violently from their sleep. As we come to Subil, who up to this moment has rested in dreamless, empty sleep, where nothing but darkness and silence awaits you. And so that has been since you remembered walking into your room. As thoughts begin to congregate and form in your head, you become very apparent, or more precisely less apparent, that you don't remember climbing into your bed. You don't remember closing the door. You don't really remember anything past walking in. And now, as you snap awake, your eyes flying open, drinking in the light that slinks through the porthole to your head, next to your head, you realize you're cold. Your skin is wet with sweat. Your hands are slick, and your things lie about the room. Your disguise kit on one side of the room, having been apparently thrown outside. Your various possessions litter the floor. Your dagger lies embedded in the foot of your bed. Your fingernails, as you just raise your hands up to inspect what it is that is sticking so slick to them, lie pitted with dark red beneath the nails. As you look over to the shine reflection of your knife, you see your reflection staring back at you, eyes creased into a smile, as you can see droplets of blood running down the blade. Subil, what do you do?
Oh. I'm getting the covers of whatever bed that I'm on, throwing them straight over that knife.
You grab the covers, pulling them for the once pristine white of them has already been somewhat muddied over the last few days, but as you fling them over, you see deep stains of blood from your palms spread across the covers and cover the blade. You look back and again realize that your hands are just coated in blood. It smells sweet.
Oh, where's the blood coming from? Oh,
It's just layering it. It doesn't seem to be coming from anywhere.
okay, that's not fun. No more reflections. No more reflections. Sybil's gonna. Where's the nearest basin that he can wash his hands or anything to get the blood off?
You look around, and as you do, there's a sudden knock at the door. We're making port. Clean yourself up and get ready to come out.
Yeah. So, yeah.
A couple of moments pass, and Jules, you're awoken by the same sound of just 3 quick raps at the door, and Gianmarco's voice just pushing through the wood of it. On your feet. We'll be getting everyone off shortly.
Can I open the door quickly and whisper, is there any food? No? Is there any food on the... No? Is it cooked? No,
Pele,
like
we haven't seen
bacon,
Pele all
no.
morning.
Right. Okay. Thank you. I'll close the door, wrap Sam up, and kind of like nudge Sam awake to be like, gotta get ready. Come on.
You very cautiously wake Sam, who...
This kid is basically a nuclear bomb. I'm not going to shake him awake.
Very slowly, you do rouse him from sleep, and as his eyes kind of flicker open ever so gently, you're awake. You're met by the same smile, very honest, very sweet smile that he gives you every single time you see him.
I give a sweet smile back. We've got to get port, so grab your owl and let's get going. And I basically, like a mother, sound to kind of getting dressed and get going and wash face, the stereotypical shit that you're supposed to do in the morning.
You guide him through his morning ritual of being less filthy.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah. And he goes through it quite happily. He's there just humming along as he washes his hands in the basin, left at the side of the room. Make sure to, after finishing his own hands, make sure Owl has a bath. And as he leaves Owl to just kind of clean off, he just does turn to you. Is there any breakfast?
Yes, there will be. Wash yourself up, and I will see you with a nice something by the time you
no
see
eggs.
me. No eggs. You're not an egg person.
No, it might upset you.
Right. Yes, because we won't have owl eggs for sure. No.
Do owls lay eggs?
Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
Never seen an owl. Can we go and see an owl?
I would love to show you an owl. When we get a chance, I'll show you an owl. Right, Alpha Pop, and basically throw the kid out of the room and go to the kitchen. Fuck, I'm not going to make meals.
Yeah. I very briefly heard that as throw the kid out the window.
No. Out the room. Yeah. Find the owl! No.
I mean, it would end the game very quickly.
Yeah, it would end the game very quickly. Well, yeah. Talk about being chased. We wouldn't need to be chased anymore. But yeah, I'm start making my way to the kitchen.
Mhm. You finish up getting Sam ready, grab your own bits and pieces, and just swing the door open, get ready to head down. A few minutes beforehand, Violet's door is the same thing. 3 quick raps. On your feet!
Yep. Okay.
And that's about all you get.
Yeah. I'll kind
Oh.
of get out, get the case, because I know people are kind of. I'll get my instrument case, because I know people are kind of mad at me. I just kind of, I guess, leave, because if I get anyone more mad, they might throw me off, and I don't think I can swim. I don't know. We'll find out. Maybe not. I don't know.
Only one way to find out.
Please no, not today. Next time.
You pick yourself up and grab all your bits and pieces, and within a moment or two, you're able to just head out into the hallway. As you do, in the room across from you opens up, and Eli, the boy of about your age, steps out the other side, pulling his clothes on properly and just having a bit of a look around. You can see the sleep still evident on his face. The moment he spots yourself, though, he very, very quickly just tries to hide that tiredness and put on this look of happiness. Morning.
Morning yourself. Just sleep all right?
Always really well. What about you? Was everything to your liking?
I mean, it was nice to sleep on a bed, I admit, but you know. Yeah.
Have you been... Sorry.
Saying that the rocking of the ship wasn't as bad on this time round, so you know.
Yeah, it can be odd. I'm not used to boats myself. They're a bit, off. I like the hard ground beneath my feet. What about you? You travel a lot, don't you?
Yeah, it's always been bad. Always been bad. The ground out. Me and my dad and my mother really hated boats, so we always, we like the forests and the hills and all that.
I do too. And he just kind of starts heading around towards the deck in that way that he's very obviously trying to encourage you to follow him to just continue the conversation.
Yeah, I will follow and just continue keeping the conversation with him.
You just engage in rather inane chats. You very quickly get onto the weather's been a bit weird recently, hasn't it? And you get the impression that he's just trying to keep talking, basically, at this point. It seems that he's just flitting from any conversation topic he can grab and just jump onto that, jump onto the next, and jump onto the next. Make your way up, and as you're walking, another of the doors in front of you opens up, and Jules steps out.
Morning! Right, what are you looking for breakfast? And I'm gonna saunter past.
I was just gonna get a piece of fruit.
A piece of fruit for the lady!
Eggs and bacon would be great.
No eggs!
Why not?
It's bad for the owls! I'm just gonna keep
At that point, just go around the corner and disappear.
We don't have any owls on. I'm not going to question it. Not going to question it.
I find it's best not to, Jules.
No. I'll keep that in mind. Thank you.
As you walk past and you continue your conversation from inside Subil's room, you can hear all of this. Hear the sounds of life just on the other side of your door, and you're just still stood there. You've just pulled your hands clean of the basin. Your hands now as clear as they can be, but the basin a deep crimson.
I'm just going to find the baggiest clothes that I possibly have and just try and get out of the room. Just get out of there. Get my disguise kit. Pop that one on him. Grab all of my items.
Are you grabbing something out of your disguise kit?
Yeah. I know that I'm heading back to shore, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
We know the direction. In which case, yeah, I would probably get disguised, in which case, if I've still got something there that I can use to cover my face, to cover everything. And
you reach in instinctively just grabbing for your makeup kit, just to get ready to prepare yourself. And as you plunge your hand in, you kind of move past the faux leathers of some of the clothing and the rich cotton of some of your nicer clothes, and then your hand touches something soft and supple.
Pulling my hand out of there. No, pulling my hand out of there. No.
You rapidly withdraw your hand, and just on the tips of your fingers again are little droplets of red. Faye.
Get out of my head. I'm just going to grab the entire kit, and I'm going to grab the bedding with my knife underneath it, not showing any reflection, and I'm just going to get out of that room.
You just shove everything into your bag as rapidly as you can and keel out of the room.
Exactly.
Wing the door open, slam it behind you, and keep moving. Where are you heading? Above deck? Below deck?
Oh,
Between.
above deck. Definitely above deck. Straight up to the surface.
You turn and just blast out of the ship onto the top deck, exactly at the moment where you see, just heading out of the door at the same time, both Eli and Violet. You come up behind them, make your way into the upper deck, and immediately are greeted by the rather cool morning air. The breeze floating in, you can hear seabirds floating overhead, and in the near distance, the sounds of the town waking up. As you kind of turn, this is evident for all on deck, you see in front of you, just on the other side of a rather small dock, almost too small to actually fit the cargo ship you're on, laid out in front of a rather modest little town. You see a series of shop fronts linking in a wide semicircle across, directly behind the docks, and at their back the large spire of the local church, its beacon still lit brightly. Numerous shops and homes slowly kind of ascend up a small hill to the back, and you can see a main road just filing off through the exact center of town between the hills off into the south. People are already out, moving slowly. You can see people setting up small shopping stalls in the kind of the open square that sits just behind the dock. And again, you see birds floating overhead, dropping to the floor and pecking at dropped food. You can hear the sounds of, as I say, the town waking. If it weren't for everything prior, it would be just rather blasé. Quite mundane and normal. But of course, to some of us, it may represent something completely different. Violet, you become aware of Subil having made his way onto the deck. Subil, can you give me a rough description of how you're looking and feeling at the moment, mostly, so Violet can get an opinion on?
Well, Subil is most certainly looking and feeling incredibly exhausted and pretty frail at this point. He looks and feels like he's aged a decade in the last 2 weeks almost. And he's definitely starting to catch that feeling up. Not nearly enough sleep. Real dark, shallow circles beneath his eyes. Brown hair is getting longer and longer. Pretty scruffy at this point. No intention nor any effort put into keeping anything neat, tidy. With, pretty, incredibly baggy, loose, very neutral clothing, drawing absolutely no unneeded attention, definitely not showing any kind of figure or form beneath. It's almost flowy.
Very much so. As you kind of make your way off, and I imagine just away from Eli and Violet as you see them, next to yourself, Violet, Eli goes to say something and stops himself. You can see that moment where he opens his mouth, goes to kind of project a good morning, and just catches himself. I might give him a bit of a berth this morning, give him some distance.
Yeah, he looks like he hasn't had the best sleep, so maybe we just give him some time to greet the day.
Yeah, I think that might be best. If anyone's going to talk to him in any sensible way, I imagine it'll be Juliana. He says, and kind of continues to make his way across the deck. At which point you recognise on the far end, just kind of towards the prow of the ship, Eli's friend and traveling companion Max, who's just stood kind of leaning over, very, very clearly nursing a headache, as you can see him, with his head in his hand, just quietly cursing. And as you get closer, it seems like he's projecting every single curse from his lips at the rocking of the boat as it comes into dock. You can already see there's this whole grotty look to him, as if he's been awake for a few hours, making sure that the meals of the day before were no longer in his system.
Kind of just
Downstairs. Oh, sorry, go on.
I was gonna say I was kind of just gonna go over and give him some encouraging words, just to, tell him kind of ease it, but it's not going to be anything too monumental and stuff.
I feel like someone has taken all the swamps of you and shoved them down my throat. For your own sake, I just keep a couple of feet away.
Okay.
And if they don't steady this martyr-cursed ship, I'm gonna come up there and just turns and gets rid of his dinner.
Yeah, I'll just kind of give him a wide berth as well.
Eli, on the other hand, is positively pissing himself with laughter next to you. Below deck, Jules, you swing open the door into what passes for the ship's kitchen that you briefly saw yesterday when Pele brought you in. And inside you can see an abomination of mess. Every single item you thought you could cook with is everywhere but where it should be. Dirty knives lie scattered across the place. You can still see food, it's kind of flaked onto them. The tenderizer that she used to hunt rats the night before with you is sat next to a slightly beaten piece of meat, which you decide to just give a bit of a distance. And the rolling pin that Subil used for much the same purpose just sits in an apron on the wall, again in much the same state as you last saw it. There's not a lot to work with here.
Okay. First off, I do check for a Pele to see if he's in there. Hello? Anyone home? Knock, knock. Anyone? No? I check everywhere. No.
You have a good look around the kitchen and you find nothing. There's no sign
is
of
it
her.
messy as in someone's been searching or looking erratically, or is it just messy as in it's just been unkept?
Well, let's answer that question by asking everyone to go and draw 3 cards from their fate deck, please. Or their twisted deck. I can never remember the actual phrase for it.
Twisted.
Thank you. And
Do I have to shuffle it and then draw it?
yes.
Okay.
Just because I don't trust you.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I wouldn't trust me, especially with cards.
Wow. And as you start to have a little bit of a look around, can you make me either let's say notice, actually.
Notice.
I ask you to flip a notice check for me.
Of
And
course.
it's going to be difficulty 12.
That's 13 because I have +3, and that's 10 there. Yeah, 13.
Very nice. You have a good look around the room and try to determine, is it just always like this, or is this a special occasion for the level of mess? And you do very rapidly determine that there's almost a kind of method to the madness in which things have been laid out. there's definitive filth and mess to it, but it looks like everything that's there is normally meant to be there. Even where the knives have been kind of very haphazardly thrown, you can see the nicks in the table surface that have built up over the years. Exactly. Whilst you're looking, though, you do notice just one thing that kind of takes you... the only bit that really makes you look twice is that next to the tenderizer, or more precisely, on the tenderizer, there is a thin coat of dried blood.
Nice, you caught a rat.
The meat next to it is quite bloody. You can see again it's dried red on the chopping board there as well, so you draw a quick assessment there. But there was a something about it that made you look twice.
I assume you probably just got a rat. Anyway, let's get cooking. If I start cooking now, a basic breakfast for a good enough people, will I have to clean it and then kind of, will I have to clean this stuff?
Well, let's think.
Or do I just say fuck it and grab a few apples and then head up top?
Well, as Jules was a barmaid for the majority of her life and has moved between the kitchen and the bar, I imagine, quite a lot, I'm going to 100% let you make that decision on what you think would be right for her.
I've been in enough pubs to know how to cook in a shit, dirty mess of a bar. Let's do it. I'm going to cook bacon baps, I'm going to cook omelets, and I'm going to cook something fruit-based, maybe like a bowl of porridge and stuff.
Okay. In which case, I'm going to ask you to make me a culinary check.
Okay.
Now, I'm going to call this, to get everything you've just said, difficulty 15. Failing isn't going to mean that you don't succeed.
I was going to say culinary.
Be how good that food is.
I don't even have culinary on here.
This is going to be interesting then. Charm is your next step.
I would need 13 to then get, because I've got charm, which is +2. Yep. I've got a card here, which is a king. That's 13, no? Can I not use that?
You can if you want to.
I would like to use... I'm using this really good card just for the bands.
Oh.
If you tell me it's a black joker, I am going to laugh at you.
It's a 6, no.
Okay.
I'll use my king to make the most ungodly good breakfast anyone's ever had.
You turn that kitchen into an episode, one of the better episodes of Hell's Kitchen. And
what are you talking about? They're all amazing.
And work your magic over the next amount of time. The big problem you run into is after about 15 minutes, you feel the ship start to slow and settle as it starts to come into dock. And you just start speeding up and darting between the stations you have access to and doing the best you can. Above deck, the rest of the crew has slowly started to wake and arrive, including Juliana, Sam made their way to the up deck. You can see Gianmarco is preparing the ship for dock, and Lou is in the helm, keeping to themselves, more or less because anyone who goes near them is just attacked with a wave of abuse the moment they come anywhere near opening Lou's door. For yourself, Violet, you have been stood there very much listening to Eli talk, just continuing to run through any thought that even remotely passes near his mind. Discussing with you what he thinks of the town you're heading into, how he's never been there before, but it looks really nice. And hopefully the weather will hold. And maybe, I've never eaten seagull before, but I've heard good things. And maybe, it's just one shot to put one down, right? As you hear Max on his other side, again, cursing his existence through every laboured breath. For yourself, Subil, you kind of stand there, keeping away from the edge of the ship, and away from the water that waits on the other side. As you hear the soft footsteps of Juliana, her shoes clapping against the wood, approaching. Good morning.
Morning.
You've looked better. You've looked worse, but you've specifically looked better as well.
Well, I mean, in my view, if I've looked worse, I'm probably doing okay. Because worse is definitely worse. I've seen worse. Yeah.
That much is true.
Yeah.
She glances off behind as she sees Sam is just currently running around in circles on the deck, holding out Tulip and flying with her, as far as he's concerned, at the very least. And past them, you can see Violet, Eli, and Max, and she just kind of regards each of them and turns back to you. So what's the plan when we make dock? Are we heading straight to the cobblers to try and move out of here, or do you have something you'd rather do?
I don't know. How long do we have until we're noticed, do you think? I mean, if any time. We need resources, surely.
She waves at the ship and then gestures to the town. A vessel of this size is going to draw attention the moment we touch it. So I'd imagine maybe 5 minutes before we're noticed. The church
Fantastic.
hopefully isn't paying too much attention, but we also have one distinct downside, which is she glances over the water and kind of draws your attention to follow. And whilst you can't make out Southhurt directly, you are very aware of where it is. You can kind of get loose guesses. And even now, you can still see small amounts of smoke on the horizon.
I'm going to look, turn back. Cobblers it is. We'll go straight there. We got no time.
I'm glad we're aligned on this.
I mean, we're going to need to be aligned for as long as possible in order to get anywhere in this journey, if I'm right.
She kind of offers a weak smile in response and nods. 1 foot in front of the other. And she just reaches out and places a hand on your shoulder as she turns to make her way back onto the deck. How do you react?
I'm gonna try. I'll slowly pull away, but slowly.
You just retract just enough that you do think she may not have noticed that you were actively deciding to move away. But she makes her way back onto the deck. It's roughly at that time you start hearing Gianmarco shouting out, "If you haven't got all your shit, get it ready. We'll be leaving, well, you will be leaving within the next 10 minutes. In the nicest way, seeing as none of you paid, get off. Next time," and he says, very much directing this entire line of thought at Violet, "money is appreciated for goods and services."
Just kind of just stand out awkwardly with like a really guilty look on my face.
It was a very nice ditty, but not enough to really, warrant your being here.
I'll make sure I pay next time then, I swear.
Make sure you do. And as he's kind of finishing his glowering statement, Sam wanders up to him, and he just kind of immediately softens. "You, though, young man, you can come back whenever you'd like. Make sure you bring back Tulip to visit." And Sam just holds the owl and smiles. Says, "I'll try and have another one carved up for you when you get back." And even as he looks away from Sam, his eyes again land on each and every one of you in turn. And as he starts moving away, which is roughly the moment You can slam the door open, Jules, carrying your various... Yeah.
Morning! Right, who ordered food? No? Okay, more for me. I am going to go around one by one with food and say to Max, who's feeling ill, and I'll say, eating food helps with travel sickness, so please, full tummy.
Okay. He just takes that, looks at it, and just considers his lot in life for a moment, and is still considering as you move along the line. Eli grabs a plate from you. He goes, I thought you weren't doing eggs, as he takes the omelette you mentioned.
Yep. I'm going to whisper as well. If Sam asks, it's not eggs.
Okay. Violet?
I'll just take like a bowl of porridge or something and be like, it's gonna be really nice to eat something that isn't peanuts or like really dried meat, so thank you.
Well, thanks,
Julia-
I guess.
Juliana goes to take a bowl of porridge. Did you have any cinnamon?
Of course I did!
You and for the
and I'm
first
gonna
time...
mime out nothing.
Yeah. I mean,
What?
as she takes it out on that, for the first time since you've met her, she smiles.
Ooh, okay, did not expect that.
And just kind of takes it away off to a corner of the ship and sets about. And that leads, of course, just behind her, you can see Subil nestled in the shadows, keeping away from the sun.
I'll just kind of like a rabid dog, kind of step closer and like give out an apple and be like,
Thanks. I don't.
one of those a day will keep any doctor away.
Jules, I'm not afraid of the doctors.
It's okay. It's okay. I would touch you, but you're weird, and I get that.
Thank you, Jules. Thank you for this and for
You're
that.
welcome. Good morning. And I'm going to turn away.
There. You just got to step away and leave Subil holding the apple.
Yeah.
As you all start to work into your breakfast and slowly start kind of regaining some semblance of strength, can I ask any of you, but only one of you, to make me a notice check, please? Of difficulty 12. I don't care who does it, just as long as someone does.
I have bad notice, so maybe not me.
I have okay notice, but I feel like I'm busy doing other things.
I think
Fair.
I have noticed. Yeah, not the best for it.
Who's it going to be? Subil or Violet?
5, 4,
I'll do it, it's fine.
3.
Okay.
Go for it. Say difficulty 12.
I can give you a 7.
Are you happy with your 7?
Plus
No,
anything?
No, plus 0 because I've got like nothing in notice, and I feel like I've pulled really bad cards, so I'm gonna stick with the 7 for now. I've got a really bad feeling from my cards, so like
Bad juju. Got it.
yeah, bad juju.
As
Say
you're as you're stood eating, you do see Jin Marco and Lou talking in hushed tones on the upper deck. Don't pick up anything they're saying. Across from where you stand on the water there, through town and outside, as I suddenly drop this, outside a small cobbler's, watching this large cargo ship slowly making its way into dock, we find Kylan. Stood beside a rather dour-looking woman by the name of Erna, watching as the ship that, as far as either of you are concerned, wasn't scheduled to arrive, and it's just unusual enough for the size of this town to draw your notice. As you kind of stood there, chomping into your own breakfast, of whatever you choose it to be, as long as it's handheld and convenient.
Hardtack, probably.
Hardtack it is. Erna chewing surreptitiously through. That's not meant to be here. Do you know anything about this?
No. Why would I know anything about it?
I'm hoping someone does when something odd happens. And this is definitely something odd.
So we're gonna check it out, right?
I might send Volker down to have a look. It's weird. We need to get Morhen loaded onto his ship.
Yeah, alright. Fine. Work's work, right?
This is what they tell me. It keeps us in...
Still, not on any of the records, is it?
No, none. It's... who knows? It could just be crews, but it's cargo. Cargo just doesn't turn up if no one's buying it. And
Maybe something happened to them. Maybe it's a plague ship.
I mean, in which case, we definitely won't send anyone to go and investigate. But
Yeah, that's probably for the best.
she gestures across the water, and over the last few days, or more precisely about 4 days ago, 4 nights ago, more precisely actually, you got to see the kind of largest city near you, which is just on the other side of this rather large kind of internal sea. Southhurt was up in flames about 4 days ago. You could see the tips of the fire smoke billowing into the sky, even from here. Now, since that time, you've heard no news, no idea of what happened, just that there was apparently a large fire. Don't know the damage of it, but the chances are a ship of that size probably came from there. It's an easy assumption to make for anyone who's lived in a town like this for long enough. So it's enough to draw attention, as I say. But for the time being, very much from everyone. Even you see passers-by on the street kind of glancing over to it. You can hear these, not really hushed conversations, but idle passing chit-chat of, oh, that's a bit odd, isn't it? As they just go past, and various conversations of the like.
Hope they weren't trying to be subtle.
I mean, you'd assume anyone trying to, stay beyond notice wouldn't travel in a cargo ship larger than most houses, but hey.
Never know. Maybe I'm just looking for something interesting to happen where there is nothing.
I think we're all looking for something like that, she says with a smile before just chewing the last bit of her breakfast and just dropping it on the floor. Right, back to it, she says with a smile. And the two of you head into the small cobbler's shop, the back foot, and get ready to get on with your day, as it were.
Work's work.
As you are. Yeah. Meanwhile, the ship docks. And after finishing your breakfast, each and every one of you are very, very unceremoniously removed from that ship. Gianmarco walking behind each of you, carrying one of your bags, because he found it when he went in to make sure that you'd all picked up your stuff and left. It's been wonderful having you. Please leave immediately. All of your stuff will, if being left behind, be sold. And no, please do not come back unless, again, you have money, you bunch of scum.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I give him a kiss on the cheek as we leave.
Nice meeting you.
Yeah.
You do that, and
Thanks.
it seemingly just resets him for a moment. He just kind of, and you can't decide if that was just, actual human contact from a very, very angry man, or you have driven his levels of anger to a point that he just can't process them properly anymore.
That's my job.
And at that point, you all kind of make your way down this long gangplank that runs onto a dock, which, as I say, is in no way built for a ship of this size. As you start making your way down it, you kind of have to walk at such an odd angle that you speed up as you go down. And you kind of have to catch yourself to not just walk off the other side straight into the water. And as you're approaching, you can already see on the docks themselves and further back into the square, people very openly watching you. Like they're trying to determine what it is you're bringing it on shore, why you're here, who you are. These are all of the questions very clearly plastered on their faces as you start to approach. And even a couple of them are kind of making their way down the dock towards you. It's up to you three, as you kind of stand at the head of this little group, on how you want to kind of approach the next step. Even Juliana stands behind you all, goes, please, I'd love to see how you were keeping even remotely hidden during my hunt.
Yeah, we'll see. Sybil's going to make his way forward. Is there anyone sort of leading the crowd? Anyone who's got any kind of remote authority in the area? Perceived authority?
Make me a scrutiny test, please. For yourself, we'll say difficulty 8.
Difficulty 8. Okay.
Planning if you don't have it.
Don't have it. Yeah, but I've got +3 cutting, so that's alright. Alright. How do I,
Oh, 11.
Is that 11? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, very
+3, so 14.
Damn. That's double.
Look at you, showing off.
Yeah.
You have a quick glance over the crowd and just rapidly start profiling as best you can. And the majority of the people there are just there because this is possibly one of the more interesting things that has happened over the last few weeks for them. They're looking at this honking great cargo ship that, as I say, is aligned horizontally rather than vertically with the docks. So it doesn't fit, what could it be? And that's the majority of them. At its head, though, you see 4 people, man, 2 men, 2 women, making their way down. And at their head is a rather portly-looking gentleman in this waistcoat that is very clearly slightly too small for him. Most of the buttons have been replaced 2 or 3 times, or you make your next guess that maybe he just wants them to all look different. And a pocket watch runs down in this lovely gold chain that kind of stands against everything else he's wearing. It's definitely a look of forced authority rather than actual authority. And he is marching ahead of everyone else, keeping his thumbs in his waistcoat pocket, his stomach leading him more than anything else.
Do we have any food still left over from eating?
Probably. That's very much up to you, I would say.
Yes. I ready my food.
I ready my bacon sandwich.
Yeah, I ready my bacon sandwich. Apple in pocket. Draw!
Unless there's anything you want to do prior, Subil or Violet?
I mean, I'm just gonna keep a grip on my instrument case. I'm just, but I don't think there's much I can say at the moment. But,
Okay.
I'm gonna go towards the though, who I've got down as portly, small waistcoat man, head towards him, and I'm going to be fairly direct but open. And yeah, I'm going to walk and just try and get his attention a little bit.
You take a couple of steps ahead, and you see his beady little eyes just kind of scrunched in below his rather puffy face, and his tiny little pencil-thin mustache that runs across his upper lip. And the moment you separate yourself from the pack, his eyes snap onto you. He withdraws one hand, which has this rather large ring on the tip, a large fat red ruby embedded in it. As he comes closer, "Hello there. My name is Harold. I'm the local proprietor of the Merchants Guild. And who are you, may I ask?"
Sybil's not going to reach for the hand, but he's going to do a little curt and a little bow. And going to go, "Sir, you look like a man with authority, a man who knows what's going on. Surely you've heard, or at least seen, the flames amongst the lake, rather the sea. We've had one hell of a story, but one hell of a journey, rather. We could do with a hand of a good man like yourself." Oh. You say your name's Hurd?
Harold, boy, Harold.
Harold.
Bring your ears out.
I knew a good old man named Herod once.
Old?
Yeah. Oh, I mean, good
I'm
old
a
man.
spry
You know?
37-year-old young man.
Oh, I don't mean
What?
you, Herod, my friend. You're looking fantastic for the 20-man-year-old you are.
I'd
Now-
love for you to make a bewitch check for me. At a penalty, which wasn't there until I am very much treating Jules as what is in character.
I hope so too.
Yeah. So draw 2 cards.
I
to
am
get the
chewing
worst.
on an apple here, going, no. Oh.
He is. We're only going to call it difficulty 8. This is a man who's looking to be bigged up.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. Which I got 1. Charm -1, so I get what I get. All right. That's a 13.
Dope.
Oh, God, I'm using all the good cards for the charming.
It almost appears like he either didn't hear Jules's little moment, or is choosing very much to ignore it. Well, I'm glad to hear that you clearly recognize the upper crust.
Absolutely. It would be hard not to. I'm an entertainer myself, but I've got a secret. And I need you, as a man who is evidently full of honor, evidently, look at the man with his beautiful waistcoat and his gold watch. I need you to keep this for me. You see, me and my troupe here, well, we're actually performers, but we're secret performers, only for the elite. We've been hired, but I can't even tell you my name, my friend. You may recognize it, and I need your help. You see, we were heading towards the now burning city, but, well, we were turned away because of the flames. We're trying to keep a low profile. I have a friend of mine here. I believe he works, he last said, in the cobblers. I need to get that right away without drawing much attention.
Oh, I'm afraid. He turns and just kind of looks at the little congregation of people behind him. Step back, the man's talking to me! And then twists back to yourself and leans in very closely. As you can smell the overpowering scent of his cologne. Enough that it kind of burns the nostrils. Not to be unnoticed. Maybe you should have arrived in a smaller ship. But I can help you out. Perform only for the most elite, though, you say. Well, in the favor for a favor, you can do your little performance at my townhouse this evening.
Heard, if you could get me to the cobblers, I'll give you a private show myself.
There's definitely an expression of not knowing what to do with that information.
Jules
Sybil's-
is definitely giggling here.
Sybil's so in his performer character, he's so used to just charming everyone with this character that it doesn't even matter who he's talking to, he's just leaning in, you know. Leaning in close.
He just kind of stands there for a moment. Twists and just points a pudgy little finger at one of the people nearby. Oh, come here! And this rather mousy-looking man in... again, he looks like he's just a downgraded version of Harold. As if someone had just taken everything Harold was wearing and just asked for the next cheapest option. And just summons him over. Wraps his little arm around him, brings him in. I need you to get my new friend here after the cobblers. Without she. And the man just goes, of course, Harold, whatever you say. Good boy. Jervis here will look after you.
Jervis.
Won't you, Jervis?
Man of loyalty. Yes, thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Herd. Thank you, Jervis.
Oh. I'll make sure the rabble stays out of your way while Jervis helps you up. You come by the
Class.
local. I'll call it the. You come by the local later. The olive well. We'll meet up.
All is well. I'll see you there.
Not if I see you first.
Oh, Harold.
And with that, he slaps Jervis on the back, turns around, and starts marching once again up the dock. What's wrong with you people? You've never seen a ship? Get out of here and get back to work, you petulant peasants.
As we all turn, presumably as I turn back to the group, to Asher, I'm just gonna give a little kind of look at Juliana and kind of go, and turn back.
I'll match her expression as best I can, which will just be...
I'll nod and turn.
Leaving the rest of you kind of quite free for a moment as Jervis just watches everyone else leave and just kind of turns back to you. If you'd like to follow me, good people. The cobblers, yes?
Yeah.
Excellent. And he just turns, kind of keeping his hands very close to his chest and elbows tucked in, starts walking without his upper body really moving at all. He just starts marching off through the town and leads you along. You form a small string of people making their way along. Sam just kind of walking, gripping Jules' hand as you walk, looking around, and you can just, again, the town kind of goes back to how it was. People setting up their stalls. You can smell freshly baked bread from a nearby bakery, hear the seagulls again moving around. You can just see a normal town as if nothing bad had ever happened here, existing around you. And that's very much the state of it until you are brought up a fairly large hill, past a few more buildings, past a small watchmakers and jewelers, and then finally near the end of the street below, next to a series of small hillocks and rock formations behind it, you see a cobbler's. And on a small sign swinging over it, you see the back foot. Jervis just smiles. When you see Master Harold, please let him know that I got you here safely.
Thank you, Jervis. You're a good man.
Yes, very, very much so. Thank you. And he just kind of goes 90 degrees in a bow, stands back up, and takes 2 steps back from you without turning his back. Spins and wanders off.
Wow. Okay. turn to everyone and say, "We made it, cobblers."
That was impressive. That was quite impressive, I can't lie.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do tonight, though.
You are aware you're going to have to sleep with him.
Yeah.
It's usually how it goes.
I've
You
committed to
won't
worse
find that.
roles, you know. I'd...
Well, if you're down for that, I mean, I know I've got limits, but if you don't, I mean, I thought the touching thing was weird, but I mean, if you don't want to touch me,
no, I'm not.
you know what? Not my boundary. I'll leave it with you. Yeah.
That's why I'm worried about tonight.
Yeah.
Even as you're kind of saying that, Juliana moving towards the front door. I wasn't aware setting up a meet for you in a brothel would be so appropriate, Subil.
Brothels seem to be just a meeting place nowadays, you know? But hey, there can be places of... Yeah, you're right. I've got nothing. I don't know where that came from. Let's just get on with it.
Heading inside?
Yeah.
And with that, I assuming you're leading the way there, Sybil, you just turn the handle into the cobblers and swing the door open. Inside, you are greeted rather quickly by a small, cobblers. Fairly modest building. On the interior, you see a small statue of a man holding a shoe with a nail. You almost get the impression that it should probably be moving, but you know. Oh yeah, there was a joke. Very few down in Devon who've seen that same statue in every goddamn cobblers that has ever existed.
Smells like flashback.
Yeah. You can see various shoes and tools layering over the interior and the kind of shop front portion of the building. And behind a long counter, which extends far, far deeper than the shop front itself, you see quite an older man, very thin white hair cropped across his head, a mustache, handlebar mustache and small goatee. One eye, kind of an eye patch runs over, and you can see a scar cropping off just from the left-hand eye, and his other good eye just kind of inclines itself towards you as you step in. Good morning.
Howdy.
Morning.
You see his eye dart as the 7 of you make your way in.
Morning. Morning.
Yeah.
Morning.
And Eli and Max, not really knowing what to do with themselves, just head over to look at some shoes. Sam just looks around with no real idea of what's going on, and Juliana makes her way to one corner of the room, giving every impression she's just watching the three of you trying to get a fix for what you're doing. Again, the man's eye just darts between each and every one of you before falling on yourself, Sybil, as you came in first. I'm assuming you've got a fair few orders?
Sorry, I'm just trying to find my notes to remember why we're at the cobblers.
Trying to find it.
As a side note, to give you a moment, below the floorboards, Kylan, you've just finished helping your newest client on board the ship. Running below the cobblers, there is a small, very, very long, words have failed me horrendously there, I do apologize. A small river and canal that's been dug out over the last couple of decades by your organization. One that connects to a nearby river and is a straight shot directly to the capital city of Dis. In that river at the moment lies a very small tug ship with one man on it and his cargo, which you're not entirely sure what it was. It was in a lot of boxes, and as lovely as it seemed,
business.
Exactly, you had no real interest in digging into it, and Ina continued to remind you, even though you don't need it, or question Erna, let him. do what he wants. He's paid a lot of money to be on that boat. And she, since, is now on the ship talking to him, leaving you kind of resting after moving all of those boxes by yourself. So you're getting to feel that in your shoulders at the moment.
A little bit. Getting stronger now. It's been a month.
This is the 4th trip you've made to and from Dis now, planned. You're normally doing at least one a week. And it's about the time it takes you to get there and back. Normally, if people were trying to do this journey on foot or by cart, it would take them the better part of a week, if not more. But, you know, there's a little bit of help along the way. The one big bonus you have in your organization is that there's a fair few channelers near the waters that just make sure that the waters are running a little bit faster and a little bit stronger than they would in most other areas. You know, perks.
All on the up and up, obviously.
Oh, very much so. There's a reason you definitely don't advertise. Right
You're
now,
willing to pay for the goods.
They already know.
Then you already know what's happening. Yes.
Exactly. And this is why you've been doing so well, and have already started to develop a little bit of a name of your name for yourself amongst the Black Tar Barrelers, the gang that organises most smuggling in and out of Dis. And as you're kind of sat there now, next to your own little table with a freshly brewed pot of coffee or tea or whatever your beverage of choice may be, there's very little you don't manage to be able to pick up when you're going in to and from in Dis. So you've actually got a nice little treasure trove of things lying around in the nook you've been calling home. You hear a parade of footsteps above you, making their way over the floorboards, which, you know, there's a reason you've put a cobbler's as the front for your business, because it doesn't tend to have a huge amount of people in at one time. You can do me a little notice check. We'll say, let's say difficulty 8.
Okay, let me just see what my add to that is, as this is a new character to me. There we go. So that's a total of 12.
There are exactly. No. It says, I'm going to check this one off with my head. One person wearing what you assume to be high heels, making their way across the room. Another in far more kind of serious work boots, the type of person that you've always had the impression that is very determined in the one thing they're trying to achieve. Another in shoes that almost distinctly seem to be muffled. You can still make them out, but every time they move, there's a cushioning to it. And you hear a set of children's feet. Another woman or another person who you assume to be carrying quite a heavy object, but the footsteps are definitely balanced to one side, so whatever it is, they're carrying it in one hand. Then 2 more sets that move almost simultaneous with one another off to the corner, and that's it.
After a moment, Kai will sit back in their chair pick up their coffee, and just sort of... Erna, there's 7 people upstairs. Sounds like a small army needs new footwear.
She just kind of turns up the stairs and just shouts back, "Do you mind going and checking it? I imagine as much as Volker would like the business, probably good to see who that might be."
Yeah, I'll make sure they're not violent people in need of cobbling, and we'll just kind of stand up at their own leisure, and then just walk up the stairs to see what exactly is going on.
Well, as you kind of pick yourself up, finish your stretch, head on up the stairs, you start to hear the voices kind of mailing their way down. You come up into the back room, which is very much just a cobbler's shop, with a large door on the side that allows you to bring in the cargo that, of course, again, no one knows is coming in. And just on the other side, you can hear whatever excuse Sybil has had a few minutes to come up with.
We need a lot of shoes to get to this.
And
That's
on
what I
that,
say
I
to
think
the guy.
we're-
And it's just silence for 2 minutes.
there is a moment of silence as we then move on to a break to let Sybil think about what he's done.
Okay.
Yeah. So we will be back in roughly 5 to 10 minutes or so. Let everyone go off and grab a drink, recharge, and prepare for whatever comes next. And we will see you all shortly. Thank you very much. See you on the other side. Hello. I'm drinking this because while we were away, I accidentally broke the stream and, recovering. We'll be back in a moment. I swear that's not why we were missing for 4 months. It wasn't because I pressed a button and everything exploded. That's what happens when I go to work. Right. Where were we? So last we left it for our very short, obviously 5 to 10 minute break. Subil had very readily taken his foot and tried to see just how far back his own throat he could get it. So, as we come to Kylan's making their way up into the back room of the back foot, you hear a voice. Now, I'm going to ask you to say it one more time, just, for posterity. Subil, what do you say to the lovely man behind the counter?
I'm going to say to the lovely man behind the counter, Kurt sent us to get some shoes to go to this.
The man behind the counter, with his one good eye, looks over at you and at the rest of the group. Oh, aye? How is my nephew?
He's about.
Make a deception check for me, please. We'll call that deceive, and we'll call that difficulty 10.
Okay.
Can I help?
I saw the facial expression you just made, so my answer is no.
Damn it!
There we go. That's a 9, and then I've got for deceive, 1 in cunning, 1 in deceive. No, 3 in cunning, 1 in deceive. So that's
10.
No, plus 3 for 14, 13. Is that right?
Yes.
Yes.
Your basic maths checks out.
Glad I went to school.
Aren't we all?
13. There we go.
You spit out your response, and he just kind of stands there for a moment. Good. When you see him, tell him he doesn't come by enough.
I somehow don't think I'm going to see him for a while.
So he sent you for that reason, then, has he? All of you?
I hope so. Yeah.
Really feel like I should have a sheet of paper behind one of my glasses for this. Give me a moment. Continue talking. So all of you are needing to get out of here.
Rather urgently. You know how it is.
We're heading
I'm
south.
sure you can see our situation's pretty dire.
Just about. You're, I can see myself at the moment. I'm
Don't
gonna
take
ride
it out.
I'm
Yeah.
sticking with it at this point.
Commit to it.
This is going to be my new profile picture at work. How urgently?
How long does it take to get from one side of the sea to the other?
3-4 days, depending on your ship. If you're looking to get to... Okay. Not bad, is it?
ASAP.
You weren't anything to do with,
No,
kind of glances over at the window.
I already say no before you even look at it. Nope.
Jules, there's no point lying to them. They're literally the only people we can...
Yeah, it was 100% us.
No,
except...
that's not what I mean.
No. Well, I'm confused here. Do we say it wasn't us or it is us?
We're just
Now they don't
honest.
know
we
if
were
we
there.
did or
It wasn't
didn't
our
do it.
fault.
Oh, man.
I hate to tell you, I'm taking that conversation as everything that just happened in that room.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kai's on the other side of the door, like,
I'm just on this side, like.
We did not do that. Were we there? Yes. But we did not do that.
Okay. So, you're looking to get to this, to get away from whatever you did or
This.
didn't do.
I want to get rid of them. They're weird. They start hurting people.
Jules.
Sorry, I'm oversharing again.
We're right here.
For the note, Sybil, as you look past Jules to the back of the room, you see both Eli and Max. Oh god, that's so much worse.
Oh.
You see both Eli and Max at the back of the room, neither of which look particularly happy. You've seen both of their faces shift from, looking around the room, just getting a bit of the lay of the land, to, well, hearing Kurt's name crashes. Well, we have... Do you intend to pay? Can you pay?
This is a big city, right? There's bound to be contacts. I know a few people there. I can get payment there, but I mean, how often do you really have people show up and then have something to pay on the dot when they're in this dire need? We could sort some kind of insurance, maybe. I don't know.
We're not really in the business of handing out free trips.
What clientele do you get? Surely
Very
this
select
isn't...
clientele.
I know for a fact, Kurt, that I got your accent now. Right. How different. Right. I know for a fact, Kurt would have helped us.
Really? That doesn't...
I knew Kurt quite well.
You?
Yeah. I spent a few days with him. Maybe even a few weeks with him. And
I would like, specifically you, Max, just flip a card for me. You want this to be high.
yeah, I do. 11.
Violet,
Mm-hmm.
from your perspective, as they're talking, you can see Eli moving to say something,
Mm-hmm.
and Max just putting his hand on his shoulder and pulling him back. You can see tears welling up in Eli's eyes.
Seeing as I have no idea who this Kurt person is, I'm just going to assume that they knew him before, but I'm not really going to say anything, because I actually have no idea what's happening. I'm just along for the ride right now. So I'm just going to kind of stay kind of just behind Jules and Sybil and just kind of take note of everybody and everything that's being said.
He chews over what you said, Jules. Can you make me, we're going to say, either you or Sybil can make a barter test with an extra card. So draw 2, pick best. Whichever one of you choose can take it.
I don't have bartering, so I'm assuming that's charm.
Tenacity.
Tenacity?
Not good with tenacity.
Yeah, I can do that. I can do that. I've got +2 in tenacity.
You're the barmaid.
The difficulty for this one is 16.
Ooh.
There is no way I can reach that then. Okay. So we got 5. Or we got 2. So the best I can get is a 7.
Can you cheat at all?
I can, but what I would never reach 16. Does that matter?
There are degrees of failure. So if you fail by over 5, it's a bigger impact.
Okay, because I can get to 11. And
That'd be better.
That yeah.
At least that's only 1 degree of failure rather than 2 or 3.
Yeah, I'll do that. 11.
Okay. You say what you say. Look, Clearly, if you know Kirk, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt and assume you're not here just trying to get us to say the wrong thing. But we can't just be taking strays for no reason. You get out there, you get something worth, and we can talk. Clean slate from the trip to Dis. 1,000 coin each. Kylan, you are free to pop around the corner at any point if you so wish.
Okay, at the moment they're just like, considering, but I think at this point, if there's like a beat, they're just gonna come around the corner. Look, like with something in their hand, maybe like a tool, like a cobbler's tool, there's probably a few around the corner, something in their hand, just kind of pick up a shoe that needs like desoled or something, start to kind of do that in the background and say, awful lot of shoes for such a small shop. Just slowly peeling a sole off a shoe, just to give them a reason to sit there and listen to this.
Yourself down in the corner, and everyone you see. Kylan, please describe yourself as you make your way into the room.
Kylan is on the tallish side of average and lithe, angular, dark hair, and not immediately discernible if they are more masculine or feminine. They're sort of in between, but long, straight, dark hair, pulled off partially to the side, dark, really dark eyes. You think maybe they're brown or maybe they're darker. They're piercing, and they're just a very angular sort of, a little bit pale person. There's something just, is it unsettling or is it pretty about them? And they just sit down, lean back a little and start using a tool to slowly peel a sole off of a shoe that was sitting aside. But they're not even really looking at it too much. Occasionally they look down to make sure they don't mess this shoe up for the poor cobbler. But they're not even really looking at it too much. They're mostly just looking at you. And that's it.
Thank you. The cobbler kind of glances over as you enter, looks at the shoe, raises his good eyebrow. Just gets what you're doing and just kind of turns his attention back to the others. Yeah.
Probably not the first time Kai's done that to eavesdrop, so...
He's got a little pile of shoes under the desk, which is your leavings, as far as he's concerned. They're his own personal project at this point.
The bits of soul I didn't get off because I'm not a cobbler. I helped a little bit. It's fine.
He tells you you're doing your best, and that's all he can ask for.
Great. I feel good about that.
He and then turns his attention back to the others. Okay, don't know what else to tell you. You pay, you leave. You pass on my apologies to Kirk by all means, but we're a business to run, not a charity.
I have a counter offer for you.
Oh,
I've been around a fair amount of places. How do I put this nicely? I've seen a fair amount of different documents that may be handy to you. What I'm getting at here is that Subil actually used to be an expert at forgery, or rather, I'm trying to find his. He was a hustler. With lots of skills in forgery. So I'm thinking maybe if he could diplomatically solve this, perhaps there's a trade. And so, yeah, Subil would say, I've seen a fair amount of documents around. Maybe I could help you if that particular skill set might be of interest, and I think it may be.
He stops and just rubs his chin for a moment. Glances over to Kai.
Kai definitely does one of them.
What type of document?
What are you looking
They'll
for?
stand up at this point and toss the shoe in the bin of cast-offs and kind of hover a little bit at this point. They're too curious not to at this point.
I mean,
Plenty. I've seen and dealt with a lot of the Inquisition at this point. And I mean, I've journeyed around with the freed plenty, so anything that
there's a
might be
very
handy.
stifled laugh that comes from the corner of the room. From Juliana, precisely.
Yeah. And a particular expertise, and I can get plenty of input in what official documents may need to look like.
Are you any good at mimicking seals?
I can mimic anything. On writing, in person. That's what I do.
Got any examples? Anything you can show us of your work?
Not on me, but what do you need done?
Go talk to Arna. Colin, get him downstairs. Give him a chat with Arna. I'm sure we can work something out.
It's good doing business.
Come on.
Well, hopefully.
All 7 of you. High heels, muffled shoes, work boots, and just starts. Let's go. Take you down the stairs.
You lift the portion of the counter that allows you to kind of get everyone through into the back room and start going downstairs. As you start to move, Jules, there's just a small tap on your shoulder.
Turn around.
It's Eli. That's gone now. Oh, that light is very bright. He, as I said, just taps you on the shoulder. Look, Jules, that didn't sit well with me.
I know. But if I had a few more days of knowing that he's not dead.
His blood.
I know.
Look, me and Max have been talking, and I think this is as far
After
as we
this, yeah.
go. Kurt had kids. There were a couple with his ex-wife on I think it was meant to go in Island. We're gonna talk with. He just kind of shoves his thumb in the direction of the cobbler as you kind of made your way to the back room at this point. And we're going to try and get out there and talk to them. It's the least we can do. If we go all the way to Dis, then who knows how they find out.
I know. You do know I'll never forget Kurt.
Neither will we. It's been... Nice is the wrong word. He says Max is just leaning against the frame of the door at this moment. Difficult. And Eli nods. It's been difficult knowing you all, but you seem to be good people.
Well, at least someone thinks so.
Yeah. I mean, we've known Lottie for a while. She was always a good judge of character, and you know. You two do seem to take a shine.
Yeah, we did. We really did.
Well,
But I am not going to cry in a cobbler's. I have done a lot of bad things, but that is a new low for me. So she'll snuffle her nose. And a lady should not be seen crying anyway. I'd both give them a wink, and then I'd turn around.
They just smile back, and you make your way down the stairs, leaving both Max and Eli behind. Downstairs, Kylan, you lead your new potential business partners.
Where are the other two?
They are gonna wait for a bit. They're not coming with us. They have got different plans.
Less room on the boat. Let's go.
I'm gonna look kind of sad when she says that, because I feel like I've struck up a kind of friendship with Eli, so now I'm just a bit like, oh, okay.
Leaves that little kind of odd feeling in your chest. Juliana, as you're going, does kind of look up the stairs. You see a look of irritance more than anything else. And as she's glancing up, Sam moves and kind of stops on the stairs and waits for Jules to pass and just looks up and says, where are they going?
They are going to go see some family. We might see them later, so it's not a hard goodbye. But for the time being, they're going back home.
Okay. I hope they're happy.
They are ecstatic to be near someone that they loved so dearly the whole time. And now they're going to see some old friends and family, just like we see you.
Okay. He says, smiles, and just kind of continues to trot alongside you.
And the whole time I am like, like red streaming eyes, but like not a single tear. I'm not allowing it. Have you ever seen Cloudy the Chance of Meatballs? You know, goes, get that tear back up. Make a grown man cry, but not this man. It's kind of like that point of like, it's kind of beautiful, but like, I'm not saying it.
Fair enough. Cool. As you are led downstairs by Khan, you enter into what can only be described to anyone else as a magpie's treasure trove of a room that leads onto a small staircase that goes into a dark area where you can see the flickering of low lanterns and the soft sound of water and the kind of creak of something on the water. You can't see through that door as it's been pulled closed. But Kylan, you lead them into what is essentially your room. Where you sleep extends a little bit further behind, but in this you have a single, fairly Spartan wooden table decorated with any knickknacks you find particularly attractive. A small pot of your beverage and a couple of extra cups that were laid out for your guest and Ina herself. The shelves nearby line the room and are just bedecked again with items that you've been picking up over the last month or so, and just things that you either find interesting or mean something to you. And now you have a bunch of strangers here.
Right. Yep. They get down there. Kylan's gonna look around. Eyes fall on the cups. Look back to them. Coffee.
Please.
All right. Great. Sit down. I was just gonna kind of pick up the used cups, set them aside, rummage through a shelf, and set out 5 unused cups, and that should still be hot, but if you run out, I'll put on another pot. Just, I've got to go get Erna, so sit down. Don't touch anything. And, hurries off to the other room.
You swing the door open and just head downstairs quickly, leading onto this small underground jetty that waits below. Again, this allows kind of like lamplight to just stream in through the door and give the rest of you a little bit of a look to what lies beyond, which is again a a medium-sized kind of underground jetty that leads into a kind of cavernous tunnel on the far end, and a man-made canal running through the middle. And resting on top of it is a mid-sized riverboat, looking as if it may be a lot deeper than it immediately appears. And stood on the prow of it at the moment is a incredibly tall woman. You'd say easily 6'7". Very lithe, this bright red waistcoat strapped around her form, leading to just dark trousers, a pistol strapped to her waist, very evidently. The type of pistol that some would describe as a shotgun, but once you hit a certain level of height, it just looks like a pistol. And she stood talking to a man of kind of middle, quite young age, you'd say early 20s, maybe slightly later. A little bit scholarly, tied in very smart clothes, a traveling robe wrapped over his top, and a huge knapsack across his side. Bustling, bursting at the seams with what appears to be numerous books just poking out from the side. Incredibly easy to spot, even from a distance. But odder still is the large sword strapped to his side. A very clear weapon, and in the day of firearms and more practical weaponry, it just stands out. It looks oddly clockwork in origin.
So sorry to interrupt, says that to the client more than anything else. So sorry to interrupt. Erno, we may have some last-minute clients, if I could have you for a moment.
Of course. She turns back to the man who you know is called, or at least from your interaction, Jacob Morhen, who just smiles and kind of sits back on the deck, pulling out one of the books from his bag. And she kind of takes a step off of the ship onto the jetty, and in a hushed tone, "What do you mean, more guests?
Got
More
a
clients?"
group of 5 that have showed up, said they knew Kurt. They don't have anything to pay with, but one of them's a forger. Said we might be able to strike a deal.
Okay. Well, more papers are never a bad thing. And they know Kurt.
And they said
Bastards.
they might be able to replicate seals. So
Okay. That could be very useful. She kind of glances up the stairs and just about see them through the door as it's been slowly kind of closing just naturally. What type of read do you get off of them?
well, out of character, how young are the two? Is it Tulip and Max, or is it
Max and Eli.
Max and Eli? Sorry.
That's all right. All right. They would appear
Not that
to
Kai
be,
would know their names, but
exactly. Those two over there in the corner.
Yeah.
You wouldn't place the oldest of them over 18, and the youngest of them probably around 14, 15. Slightly older, maybe, but young.
Well, we've got 2 kids with them, not little kids. One's like pre-teen, young teen. So I reckon they're in some kind of trouble.
They, just for the note, they are also traveling with a very obvious child, Sam, the smallest of them. 7, maybe 8.
Oh, there's more. Okay.
Sorry.
I'm like,
the little
how
one has
many
been-
children are there?
There were 3. Now there's 1.
Okay, all right. So they've also got a little kid with them.
Yeah. So you give a quick description as you kind of look up the stairs at them.
They
2 of
seem
them.
like they don't seem like criminals, but I don't know what's going on with them.
But as you kind of look up them, we'll give this as an opportunity to let these 3 explain what they look like as well. Give you a quick rundown of the others as well. The first you notice is the small kid that is literally bouncing at the side of the table as they've stolen a sip of the coffee when no one was paying any attention. Is, as I say, maybe 7 or 8, very, very thin cropped hair on their head, as if up until this point it had been religiously shaved. Clothing is very decorative, very pretty, but quite ill-fitting, as if something that's been picked up over time rather than something that's been purposefully assembled. They're very pale, very, very pale, to the point where if you looked at them without any knowledge, you'd assume them to be sick. But there is a distinct energy to them. They're very bouncy, very energetic. The second person, the woman that's kind of been keeping to the back of the group the entire time, is about maybe 5'6", 5'7". Very neatly kept, wavy black hair, in a practical blouse and long black skirt. She has a kind of very clear tan lines on her fingers, where rings would have once been and are now empty. And again, much like your boss, has a clear pistol strapped under her arm on the right side. Main reason you can see it now is she's discarded the white robe she has been wearing, kind of a white traveling coat, more precisely, that she has been wearing until this point. And you can make out just on the left-hand breast of the coat signs of something that's been recently torn off, like a patch or something.
Okay.
And
I do think that all these things you're describing to me, like almost just under the breath, like while you're looking around the corner, while they're looking around the corner at them, Kylan's like, woman back there, she's got 10 lines where she's not wearing her rings. I think she's ripped a patch off. You know, like it just kind of is doing
you're
that.
relaying it back.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. And then I will ask, let's start with Violet. Please give a quick description of yourself for Kylan.
So Violet, like, she looks around like 19. You can kind of, she still has that very like youthful kind of look to her. She's wearing like a kind of like a green kind of shirt, just like regular traveling pants and stuff. Has like a death grip on like this traveling case. It looks kind of she's got like medium length like red hair and stuff, like this kind of, she looks basically doesn't look like she fits with the group, but she's kind of looking at everyone like she doesn't particularly know them, and you can kind of tell that everything that she's heard recently, she's kind of just been a bit like, what kind of thing. So
Gotcha.
It's kind of almost very obvious that she has no idea what's happening. She's just kind of there.
That's what Kai relays to Erna as well. That one has no idea what's happening. She really likes that instrument case for some reason. I bet it has something interesting in it. Is the
completely empty, I swear. Nothing in it.
So that's the rundown on Violet then.
And Jules.
Jules is a 5'6" girl with blonde hair and a kind of blue top and a kind of flowy dress with kind of hilted boots, with kind of heeled boots. She is kind of bubbly, extremely confident, has very little shame, and has definitely got away with using her confidence a lot, but with the way that she's acting around Sam shows that it's not for her, it's for the people around her.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, that's going to be... She's dressed fancy, but I wouldn't underestimate her under any circumstances. She's wearing heels, and a woman that wears heels to travel is dangerous.
Yeah. As your eyes pass over the rest of the group, you come to the last of them, the one who's kind of been stood at the front. And right now, you can see him kind of sat on the table with his head in his hands. I'll go into it in a little bit more depth. Let Subil describe himself in a moment. But his thumb is kind of very aggressively digging into his forehead to the point where you can actually see the nail is starting to break through the skin. And his teeth are quite bitterly clenched. Other than that, though, Subil, could you describe yourself for a moment?
Well, I imagine you can only just see Subil evidently struggling because he's got sort of fairly longish, shaggy, brown, dark brown, almost black hair that's unwashed, matted, and there's no care put in whatsoever, and just enough to cover enough of their face unless they decide to actually, speak. You can see he's fairly stature-wise hunched, but also frail in the way they are sitting, in almost delicate, but not delicate, but fragile kind of way. They've got, dark, neutral, kind of baggy clothes that don't really show much of their figure, and you can't really see much other than the bagginess sort of taking over their form. With the face obviously looking just as massive and haggard as their hair, looking incredible. Well, from what you can see, just looking tired and at the moment scrunched up in a lot of pain.
The one at the table looks like he's been dragged backward through a hedge.
Yeah.
Something's going on, but it's kind of frail to me, so I'm pretty sure I could take him if I had to. I wouldn't worry about it.
Well, let's see what they're worth then, eh? Go up, check what they got, then we'll get them on board. Not harming them at this point. We'll see what they say. Search them, make them turn out their bags. We don't want anything that's not meant to be here.
No surprises. Got it.
No surprises.
Besides, we're taking the trip anyway, right? If we gain a forger out of it.
Exactly. And
right.
You know what? I'll just set up a couple of extra cots on deck. You, as I say, turn them out. Have some words with them. Tell them we'll take them to this. When we get there, we'll take them to the barrows. And and the forger can prove his worth.
Sounds good. All right. Well, great then. Send my regards to Jacob that it won't be a private ship anymore.
I'll do my best to explain it to him. He seems pretty relaxed, to be honest.
Honestly, docile. We've had worse, and it's just gonna go up the stairs.
You see
what's going on.
You can kind of hear her go to argue and then agree, and just turn back and step onto the ship as you make your way back upstairs to find everyone still gathered in the room. You've all had a couple of minutes, so if you wanted to grab anything, there's a shared coffee on the table, that type of thing. Sam has distinctly necked half a glass half a cup before anyone had a chance to stop him, and is now currently working under the false pretext of assuming that he'll just be buzzing with energy, and is currently sprinting across the room.
What I want to do is try and get Sam to drink a lot of coffee and then use all their energy so they sleep the whole ride.
You can see them going and going and going and going, and they're holding Tulip out in front of them, just going, "Faster, Tulip, faster!" as they go.
I'll do the thing that like every parent does, be like, "I'll time you. Are you ready? Run to there and back, and I'll time you. See how fast you can go, yeah? Yeah? Ready? Go." So how are you, Subil?
Oh no.
You're not doing well? Well, there's no change then.
Just take care of Sam right now.
Would you like a coffee? You're no fun. You know that.
Yeah. I know, Jules. I know.
If time passes much like that,
It will.
Kai will come back up eventually. And all right, I've got a few questions. Answer them in a satisfactory way. Do our preliminary, and yeah, we're happy to take you to this. Names.
Happy.
I'll start. I'm Kylan. I will be your boat driver for the evening. Next. I'm actually probably not driving the boat. Is someone else driving? Am I driving the boat?
Normally that would be Aaron.
I'm driving the boat. I say to no one in particular, apparently.
Does it matter about our names?
You can
We're
give
gonna
me a fake
change
name.
them.
How am I gonna know?
No. I mean, we're just gonna. Of course. Yeah, you're right. My name's Jules.
Jules. Nice to meet you, Jules.
Violet.
Violet. Nice to meet you, Violet.
Sybil's gonna go and speak. As he does, he just turns and looks at Jules and says, "You have a lovely face." And then is just gonna readjust. I'm the forger. We don't need names right now. That seems to. We'll get there. We'll get there.
Just gonna lean in and be like, just make one up, man. What's your name?
Forger. I'm of the Forger family. It's a bit sus. I know. Yeah, let me rethink that. All right. John. I'm John.
John. Right, John. Nice to meet you, John. And who are they?
We have Sam, who's running up and down. Sam will just keep running.
As Sam is running, kind of stops at one end of the room, looks over at Kylan, smiles. Do you want to see a trick?
Do I want to see a trick? Looks to Jules. Do I want to see a trick?
Yes.
Sure. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. And he just turns and sprints full pelt at the wall that divides this room from where you sleep. And you watch as this small boy careens towards the wall head first at full speed. And the moment you think he's about to just crack into it, there is a sudden drop in temperature, enough that it causes the lights in the room to flicker slightly, and he just goes through the wall.
All right, so
The
you've
wall
got
is-
Chandler. Great. Good. Putting that in here.
You then
Actually,
very
no, I'm
rapidly
not.
hear-
I'm definitely not writing
Don't
that.
write that down anywhere, please. Don't write that down anywhere. Scrap it.
Chandler, got it. In here.
You hear a second later a crash as the small table that sits next to your bed, that again has a couple of knickknacks, is knocked clean over, and you just hear something impact the floor, followed by silence for a second.
You're right.
I'll put it back.
Good one, Sam.
Sam, was it? The glass bottles inside that table, please make sure they haven't broken. Everything else is replaceable.
You hear a very slow, very sheepish moving of the drawer opening. Again, just in the silence of the room. A couple of tinkles of glass as they roll over one another. They're
Did some of them make it out alive?
mostly okay.
Okay, great. Yeah, bring me those now, please. Thank you.
Sam is not amazing at channeling.
He's delightful. Who are the
But-
other ones?
Yeah.
Who are these?
Yeah. Who's next? Is that
the woman at the back?
Yeah.
Just nods in your direction. Juliana Kraus.
Juliana. Nice to meet you.
And you. What's your name?
You can call me Kai. Kylan's the whole name.
No last name?
Not that I know of.
You get do a scrutiny check for me. Let's say
Okay.
difficulty 6. It's fairly easy.
Well, I've definitely made it. I'll tell you by what I've made it once I get down to my scrutiny. 12.
Quite dramatically. Okay. Juliana is watching you in the same way that you have been watching everyone since you got in, looking for any misstep, any demonstration of deceit. She is actively absorbing every fact about you that she physically can, all at once. You get the impression that this is someone who watches people and learns about them for a living.
Noted. Mentally noted. Kai actually gives Juliana just the slightest smile. Just a... And you? And we'll turn to whoever's left.
I think that's everyone.
Is that everyone?
Yeah, that's
There's
everyone.
only, yeah.
Because we had a few leave. Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
right. We've got Sam, we've got... Okay. Cool.
It's at this point that Sam walks around the corner, kind of carrying 4 bottles.
They're probably like this big.
Yeah. He just kind of brings them through and... Sorry.
It's fine. I would have been a little bit put off if they were all broken. And Kai is very carefully tucking them into like a little satchel. Would have been a little put off if they were all broken, but as it seems like you've only cracked 3, it's fine. I did say I wanted to see a trick, so I guess that one's on me. And just putting the last one in there.
He just to kind of look down away from you, very, very sheepishly, very apologetic, and kind of quietly makes his way over to Jules and just sits on the floor next to her.
Hey, Sam?
Mm-hmm.
It was a cool trick.
It is. And the smile just slowly returns.
Closes the book that they've been making notes in for themselves. Now for the part you're all gonna hate. I need you to turn out your bags. I can't take cargo I don't know I can't take cargo we don't know about. If any of you have any little secrets from each other, we can go in the other room and you can show me your bag in private, but nothing's getting on that boat that I don't know about.
Subil's just gonna empty his bag
Yeah.
of like the 3 things
Yeah,
that are
just-
in there and go,
Jules is going to
I'll
open up
the case
mine,
up.
and it's going to be filled with things that people have given us. So things from roses to like random shit that she's thought she might need, like a hammer. I don't know, like not even like good, useful tools, like random shit that she's gone, that'll be useful. So it'll be like a rolling pin from the place that, like from the kitchen that we've just been at, and just random stuff like that.
One of the things you do dump on the table is a very clean pistol.
Yeah, and that too. I didn't want to mention that because I thought if I had enough things, that would just block it up.
Well, if
I'm
you're
not going to
trying
notice a
Yeah.
pistol on the table.
Well, if I'm just pouring everything out.
it's for someone who it literally is a smuggler for a living. That is very, very expensive firearm.
I think the eyebrows will go up. Like, well, you've got good taste.
Wait. How do I have this gun? I thought I just had a shitty pistol one from the boat.
You have Lottie's pistol.
Oh, but I always keep that in my bra at all times.
Okay.
Don't worry, we'll get there.
I assumed that was in your bag.
No. Lottie's shit stays on me at all times.
I do remember
Sorry,
actually. Every time it's been mentioned, you've always said you reach it, so that is canon.
It's canon at this point.
Okay. We're gonna.
Don't worry, we'll get there.
But I do also have a
Yeah.
shitty pistol
Okay.
that I picked up on the boat.
Then you look at that pistol a little bit
go-
harder and go, it's fake.
Yeah, just kind of. Okay. So I'm not going to tell you can't be armed, although it's probably the worst one you could have possibly gotten. Right.
Looks
It's gonna.
kill,
Because we'll move through the room. Even as Jules led, Sam just pulls a tiny wooden owl out of his pocket
It's too cute.
and just puts it on the table.
Just kind of smiles a little to themselves. Just. Looks. You said, Subil also emptied his bag. We'll just kind of shuffle through it if there's nothing of note in there.
I need to ask a very important question, Sybil. Did that include your disguise kit?
Oh yeah.
Yes, it does.
As Sybil starts emptying his bag, immediately it's just small items that you would expect to see from any traveling performer. Decks of cards, small magic items for magic tricks, a couple of dozen changes of clothes. And as the items continue to come out, you start to realize a couple of them are stuck together. And then
Mm-hmm.
and then a smell. There's a very acrid smell.
Iron-like.
Yes.
Hmm.
As you continue to
It's Pepe.
pull through the items, sat,
It's gonna probably
congealed,
pull gloves out of their satchel and put those on and then continue to go through things. Just like leather gloves. Just.
you put on your leather gloves, and I'll say this openly, mostly just for Sybil. There's a creeping sensation of something moving along your back. You feel the hairs on the back of your neck start to stand. And this aching feeling of the small obsidian shards that run just under the line of your beard starting to crick and crack and stretch. And just a small... Show them our work.
I'm gonna reach over and grab the bag before anything more gets taken out and slam it back onto the table. Specifically, I don't want the dagger coming out. If
Stares at
Mhm.
Sybil. I
uh,
don't see your things. You don't get on the boat.
You're
So if
aware of
you'd like-
channelers, right? You're very
Yes.
aware of channelers.
Oh, yeah.
You're also aware of the unpredictable nature of some events concerning channelers, yes?
Well, that's incredibly vague, but go on and I'll decide for myself if I need clarification.
Sadly, it's vague because we're also lacking a fair amount of details. It's partially why we're in the circumstances we are, to put it lightly.
Mhm.
And I wouldn't want to risk anything more happening. I'll be quite honest, to me or us and you. This isn't a gesture of goodwill, this is a gesture of survival. Can you please trust me that there is a dagger in there? Of course, we're armed, we're fugitives.
So you've
don't
got a
know.
bag with a dagger that smells like blood. And you're
It
saying
was worse than that.
it smells like
Carrion.
death? Like what?
Carrion.
Like carrion. Okay. Yeah, you got a bag with a dagger that smells like dead animals. And you're saying, just trust me. I'll come back to you. I'll come back to you.
Okay.
And it's gonna go look at Violet's instrument case.
Oh, like, kind of look at Subil weirdly, because, again, no idea what's happening. I met these guys, like, yesterday.
She really is just coming along for the ride, aren't you? Oh, Violet. Oh,
It's
so
fine.
Sorry.
It's fine.
Oh,
I'll put
man.
the instrument case on the table and then open it up, and literally all that's in the instrument case is just like a kind of handmade violin with like a bow and stuff, and just being like, it's literally everything I have, and I'd appreciate if I could take it with me. It's my only source of income in a life, really.
Quick question. Am I able to do some sort of like notice check on this to see if it's if there's any secret compartment, or if something seems kind of magic about this, or if she's literally just like, please God, this is my expensive violin?
I feel I need to ask Holly if you would like for there to be a notice check.
I mean, there can there can be a notice check, but I
We'll
don't-
say yes.
Yeah, we'll say yes, but I really don't know if anything's weird with it, so we'll both find out.
Oh, fun.
Yay, let's figure
All
it out
right.
together.
All right, it would notice be the would
Yeah,
notice
we'll
be
go with.
the-
It's only going to be to difficulty 5.
Okay. 11.
There is nothing unusual about this case from what you can determine. You get the feeling that it is very, very, very loved. And you do get the impression that maybe things have been hidden in there before. Definitely looks like things could be hidden in there in the future. But right now, it's just a violent case.
I think Kai is a little surprised by this. He's doing one of those like gently running the hand around the lining and realizing nothing else is in there, and it's just he just closes it and says, "You're good to go."
Can I just hug it close to my chest again? Just be like,
I'll let everyone have a moment to prepare themselves while I continue to go through your bags, because I will have to pat you down as well. Just sorry, it's not personal. I promise I won't be creepy about it. Anyway, and is gonna go to Juliana next. Sorry, if I could just see the contents of your
course.
bag. Thanks.
She unhooks a gun belt or kind of the bandolier and just places it on the table, revealing a tri-barreled pistol.
We'll do the normal, just checking for secret compartment sort of thing, you know.
Absolutely
It's
clean.
presumably a gun.
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely a gun. It's absolutely clean. She shows you a small bag which is full of ammunition, including a very. Tell you what, make me an alchemy check.
Okay, I can do that. Where
We'll
are
call
we?
it
There we go.
difficulty 8.
Okay. It is just an 8.
Okay, that's what you need.
Meet it,
Uh,
yeah.
The equivalent of white phosphorus rounds. War crimes in a bag.
Oh no, she's my type. She has war crimes in a bag. Oh god. I think actually no, that's canon. Not out of. That's in the head.
Yeah.
But that's canon. Sorry. Yeah,
in
Kai
her-
just like is like. And just starts going through the rest of the bag. Sets that aside and just goes through the rest of the bag.
You have a moment of almost feeling her going, mentally noted.
Probably, yeah. Kai's like, shit. The person who watches people, shit. Don't do anything. Don't say anything. Don't make a face.
In her other bag, you find a small coin purse, which is full to the brim. Several small silver rings, one of which has a family crest emblazoned on it that you don't recognize.
Not to be a total creep, but Kai's also looking to see if one of the rings is a wedding ring.
It definitively is not. No.
I'm embarrassed by my own character.
No, it definitely isn't. So you're lucky on that regard.
Brilliant.
And past that, there is two last things. One, a small crystal that is glowing a bright violet, actually, which you recognize as someone who's been in this particular industry now for a month or so. It is a crystal from the Shining Peak, which is a Inquisition base of operations, basically, in the middle of Valeto, across the country. It's essentially a small crystal that reacts to channelers and will glow brightly when near one of them. It is basically, the moment you unclip the bag, it is so bright that everyone in the room can see the glow off of it.
Whoa. That kid must be pretty powerful.
Juliana nods. She doesn't look even remotely surprised it's active. And right next to it, illuminated brightly, is a inquisitorial seal worn by high-ranking inquisitors. You can still see the frayed patchwork around it, and you kind of draw the connection to her coat.
I'm not gonna say anything, but Kai's gonna look at Juliana and point to the patch and point to her,
Recent change in perspective.
well, and ties that up, hands it back. Nothing suspicious on you.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing that I'm gonna have to worry about, anyway, yet. And
She
just kind
gives you
of
a very light smile. And get the feeling that she's either really amused.
probably that one.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Although I'd love
She
to
is
hear what the other
very
one was.
Yeah, no. You go with amused. Your mind settles on that one straight away.
Definitely entertained. Great. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Anyway, turns back to Subil. This is one of those literally okay. What can you tell me about this bag? Why shouldn't I be worried that the dagger's not gonna, I don't know, crawl out of it and murder me in my sleep tonight?
Yeah.
So you're aware, Sybil, everyone in that room is currently looking at you.
Yeah, everyone.
Even Sam
professional
kind of
wine
notices everyone looking at you.
And is joining
feels
in.
like he needs to join in.
Like I've nudged Sam to be like, come on, stay.
Look, I completely understand that you have absolutely no reason to trust me or any of us.
Yeah, that's right off the bat. That's completely true. Yeah. So.
But judging by the surrounding folk and the circumstances that I'm sure you're aware of, and channelers, it's not worth looking. It's not worth looking in that bag. It's not worth the risk.
How
could I hide?
is your bag worse than a channeler?
Jules, really, after everything, why?
I smelt what was in there.
Yeah. Did you?
It's not like I wasn't sitting next to you.
Did you get the feeling? You know,
Yeah.
the one that's always followed by trouble.
Yeah. Okay, maybe we don't have a look.
No.
I'll say it through gritted teeth.
I have a question. Do we have, presumably, as it is a smuggling ship, somewhere to lock things up?
Oh yeah, dozens, if not more.
Okay.
If you need to lock a person up, you can also do that.
Well, gotta keep that in mind. Kai's gonna look at Subil and say, alright, look. we've got places on the ship that we can lock things that might be dangerous. Would that be an agreeable compromise?
Yes. Just,
Okay.
I would rather not have. Leave it here if you like. I think I've been misinterpreted. That thing is dangerous and disgusting, and I want nothing to do with it. I'm not trying to hide anything from you. I'm trying to protect you. Lock that thing away, throw that key away, and just forget that there was anything more to it than just a bag. Cool.
All right.
Cool.
You'll carry it. We'll put it in one of our lower lockups.
Cool. I'm following you.
Well, no, first I'm patting you down, sorry. I did warn you.
Yeah. About that.
Another fucking thing. Come on.
I'm specifically here to make Sybil's life miserable, it seems.
I'm gonna frustratedly be like, right, who wants another coffee? We're gonna be here for years.
Yeah.
Do you need a minute?
I need a knot. Okay. I know I'm asking a lot here, Kai. I really do. But how do I put this frankly? And I don't want to play the channeler card, but I don't like being touched. Like,
he does have a phobia of being touched.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, I'm uncomfortable saying this, but I'd rather just like.
Oh, that's
then,
fine. Yeah, no, that's then I don't have to touch you either. Come on, it's
I
just gonna like
prefer that.
motion to
Okay.
the bedroom, like.
Yes.
Oh God, I'm sorry. It's just the only other room we have up here, and it's just gonna kind of like shuffle you. Okay.
So it was just awkwardly.
So you know, I'm not enjoying it either.
Hey, I hate every moment of this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Glad that we're in unanimous agreement. Now show me what's under your clothes.
Please don't say it like that.
Can we hear all of this from next door?
It's not that big of a room. You can hear every single bit of this.
Just around a little curtain.
So what I'm hearing is, okay, don't laugh, okay? It's just,
Oh.
what is
Go on then.
The
The faster you do it, the faster it's over.
Can you roll for how big it is? No? Is that
Dude,
too
these
far?
cards don't have enough No, I'm not even gonna. No, I'm sorry. I'm
You
sorry.
can do it by each inch is what number you get. No?
Okay.
I'm
Well,
tempted to make you
If
flip a
it's-
card.
Please
Do you
do.
want me to sign
Please
out?
make
Can I
it
just
canon.
Yeah.
Sybil's gonna
We'll
take off
save-
his baggy clothes and just do a little spin.
We'll save the
do I
embarrassment and we will
see?
let
Yes.
everything be justified purely by the quick description and whatever noise Kylan decides to make in response. Sybil, I will make this very, very quick and simple for you for, all of the good reasons. Beneath Sybil's clothes, there is a man who's a patchwork of scars. Innumerable cuts and abrasions and long tapered in wounds litter his form. There is barely an inch of flesh that does not have scar tissue on it. You can see, well, the strangeness of it more than anything else is that every single cut is almost tailored, as if someone was cutting him apart to put him back together and had already sewn the flaps of skin back in place. And then done it again, and again, and again, and again, and again, and again, and again. And even beyond that, running down his neck Hidden until this point below his beard and the clothing he's been wearing, you can see small shards of stone. Dark black obsidian runs to kind of completely cover his neck and ends just below his collarbone. Small spots of interlocking stonework that move as he moves, almost chitinous in design. But as he stretches, just to kind of, more from kind of the uncomfortable feeling of the situation he finds himself in, you see the skin below stretch and you just see black in between the stones. It is the body of someone who has been through immeasurable torment.
There's a pause. And Kai just motions for him to go ahead and go on. I'm sorry. This really quietly just says, how long?
11 years.
Well, you're fine. Go on. We'll just, just kind of, I'll give you a second to get your clothes back on. And kind of just goes back around the corner and says, who's next? You've got two choices. You've got the pat down, or I can take you to a private screening room.
I mean, I guess I can go next. It doesn't seem to be a long line.
Great. Stand up, please. I promise I'll do my best to be respectful.
I will act very hesitant to when you touch me. So everywhere if you touch anywhere near like my private areas, I am gonna go and slap you off.
Okay,
I will let you like do the rest of my body, but like private areas, I will go like, what the fuck? Don't touch the merchandise.
I think, to be quite frank, and stop me if there's any reason for me not to. But I'm gonna do a quick pat down. But if I get close and you slap me away, I'm gonna be like, "Where do you think women normally keep contraband?"
I will have that fun, and I'm gonna point at the really tall lady on the boat. Be like, if I'm getting naked, she's the only one seeing me.
Fine. I'm sure that my boss will be particularly happy with me asking her to come down, and so you can get naked in front of her.
She can pat me down.
Okay, well, she's not as nice as me, and I was just gonna...
I'm gonna whisper over Subil, I hope she's rough.
I was just gonna go, we'll deal with you when we're done. Go walk up to Violet and say, sorry, make it quick.
I'll just kind of let her do the whole
just
thing.
does the...
Yeah.
And it's here that, there's no weirdness happening. Kylan might not be 100% pure in their head, but they are not a creep.
Yeah, it's a fairly standard pat down, is my imagining.
Just this and the torso and, that kind of thing. Anywhere there might be a suspicious fold. Why did I say that? This is my first time on this stream too, guys. Hi. All getting to know each other real well. Hiding weapons in the lymph nodes would be a new one. Yes, it would. That leaves Juliana. I think Kylan is just like...
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Juliana just stands there, looks at you, and just places her arms out.
And is perfectly respectful, but is definitely looking for anywhere that anything might be.
As you start, she just quietly leans forward and whispers, I'm timing you.
Kylan goes bright red. Like, and it's just like...
So much sexual tension.
Like, the blush will probably go down before they turn around, but if anyone's looking particularly closely, the back of the neck is also bright red.
Yeah.
It's just like...
Full body shame.
You finish your pat down and find nothing.
You're clear.
I know.
And just turns around.
Yeah.
Just like... No. Turns back to Jules. You really want me to go ask Erna?
I kinda do.
This might as well happen. Fine. Yeah. Okay. And just kind of like stomps off. Down the stairs. Erna, do you have a minute?
Of course.
The
What is it?
pat downs went interestingly. And the lovely woman with the heels that I talked about before only wants to get naked for you.
She kind of looks up the stairs through the doorway to see Jules.
She won't let me anywhere near this
Do I
area.
make eye contact with her through the doorway?
Yes.
I take out the gun, I put it on the desk, and I get ready.
Does she see her do that?
Yeah, you all will see
Do
that.
I see her do that?
Yes, you do.
Kai's just like...
I'm ready.
Really?
I'll go and talk to her. Bring the others down.
Yeah, all right. Sure. Great. Thank you. And it's just gonna walk up, glare at Jules, like... And then
Oh, come on, and I am gonna say, oh, come on, you got yours. And stare at Juliana.
it's just like, everyone else can come with me, please, and Jules can join us when she sees fit. And just walk down the stairs.
I won't describe what happens in that room because all that happens forever, as far as anyone else is concerned, is you all walk out, Erna walks in and slams the door behind her. Jules.
Are we out of earshot of everyone?
Yep.
I am gonna go, may I talk to you about Kurt?
Of course.
And I pull out a seat, and I sit with her, and I tell her how Kurt died.
Can you do me... Just, you know what? You don't need to do anything. You explain it. And you watch this woman who's walked in, fully expecting to make you leave that room searched. Break.
And I hug her. And I become a support if I can.
This very imposing person, just through her size alone mostly, devolves into tears. And accepts the hug. And kind of brings you in as much, if anything, just to have someone there for a moment. On the boat. Kai, you know that on its forefront, this is just really meant to be a small cargo ship to that, you know, drops barrels of alcohol and other bits and pieces along the shore. You know that. You know that on the cargo deck there are dozens and dozens and dozens of crates and barrels and other goods, and that in one of those crates specifically is a large door that leads to the under portion of the ship, which has several spare rooms, all of the cargo that, you know, doesn't exist, and everything else in time. So as you start bringing people onto the ship, which I am more than happy to just say, name it, go for it, have fun with it.
Name the ship. Okay, I wrote that. I'll have a thought.
Yeah, you've got until next session. And you slowly kind of bring people onto the vessel one by one by one. As you kind of help Violet over, help Max, help Sam, Juliana, you kind of reach out a hand to help her step over, and she very firmly grabs it and pulls you towards her slightly before stepping over and past you.
Okay. I feel like Kylan is now practicing keeping composure at this point because they flubbed it the first couple times. So, like...
As that happens, Subil goes to step across. And as he does so, he kind of has 1 foot pass off of the side, land next to it, and he stumbles.
Can I catch him?
Easily, you just move forward and grab him. As you do, his face, well, you immediately grab him by the shoulders, and his body convulses in reaction just from the sensation of being so quickly and almost unexpectedly touched.
It's gonna be like an, oh, sorry, and like try to get him steady without dropping him.
As you say that and pull him back, his head snaps towards you, his eyes wide and white. Did you like my work?
What's your name?
She asks you, Subil.
Sorry, Subil, right?
Yeah.
Let's I'll take you down. We'll get that thing locked up, yeah?
Yeah, I think we should hurry.
Okay. Yeah, no problem. There's one at the bottom of the ship. Let's go. It's just gonna lead, as he was the last one, it's gonna lead him down to put something in a lockup.
You move down to the ship, bringing everyone with you. A few minutes pass, and the door at the back opens again, and Erna leads Jules out of the room, having given her look things back, and thanking you, leads you down onto the vessel as well. One by one, you kind of brought in. Subil, your bag is taken from you, or do you go to put it away yourself? But that may also be a question for Kai, frankly.
Kai would have opened the thing and been like, Kai's not touching that if they don't have to. Go ahead. Yeah.
You place your bag in this, essentially what is a safe lockbox, which is hidden behind a small crockery case with the cutlery and crockery you'd use while traveling. You place the bag in there, close it, lock it, and push the case back in place. You'd never know it was there if you didn't put it there yourself.
And Kai slips the key down their shirt.
Gone. And
it's probably gonna make a little like snotty remark, like exactly what I said to Jules, isn't it? While looking at just to Subil, like,
yeah, she can be like that, but she'll grow on you.
Grow on me, I like her. I'm just gonna kind of motion you to the, to go back up.
Just in the next couple of rooms over is what can be loosely equated to the living room. It's a very small, quite narrow, fairly long portion of the vessel, with a single table that runs along its center mass and a lovely padded sofa that outlines the edge. On the other side of that are a few small swinging hammocks, and past that a small room for, sleep, privacy, whatever you may need it for. And as you're kind of led in there, just as Erna, Kai are in a position to actually start readying the boat to leave, there is a man waiting, sat on the sofa, his bags now kind of placed on the side, a rather large, heavy book laid on the table in front of him. Kai, you know him as Jacob Moorhead, the man you've been originally hired to take to Dis. For the rest of you, he's just as I described him earlier, fairly normal-looking man. He kind of smiles as you enter, and quite quickly closes the book, stands up to greet whichever one of you comes first. Who will assume, in the way we've described it so far, Violet. Hello, pleasure to meet you. My name's Jacob. And he just puts his hand out immediately.
I'll instantly go to Shake and be like, "Oh, hi, I'm Violet. Looks like we're sharing a boat together."
Well, we'll be sure to stay out of one another's way as best we can. It's quite narrow. I wouldn't want to make anyone uncomfortable.
It's fine. I've been on a lot of boats recently, and I think I've gone past the point of uncomfortable with the people I've been sharing with, so it'll be fine.
Well, I do tend to snore. He smiles, and turns his attention then to Juliana. Right. Jacob, Moorhen. And you see Juliana stop. It's roughly the moment that Subil himself, Kai, Jules, you enter into the room. As you see her rapidly draw the gun from her holster and put it to his head.
Whoa, not on my ship! What's going on? Somebody speak, somebody say words.
Is exactly where we will end the session tonight.
Shit.
I'll have to remember exactly what just poured out of Kai's mouth at the beginning of next session. Panic.
That's
Kai
what
was
we look
supposed
for.
to be cool, guys. Why do you keep making them panic? Gay panic, gun-related panic. Whatever Subil is.
Yeah, whatever Subil is.
Yep. I don't even know.
Subil is his own special little beast.
Oh,
wow.
Go that for my for it. Oh.
That is that for the end of this particular session. So thank you very much for holding with us, and I hope you enjoyed, and I hope everyone here enjoyed as well, especially CJ for your first interaction with all of this.
A good add to the team.
Yeah.
Aw, thank you. I'm having a great time already.
So
I'm here to be a massive pain in your ass for the foreseeable future.
That's the goal.
No, that's Ben's job. You're here to survive it. You'll be fine.
I am also
Yeah.
Well, before we say goodnight, we'll say hello once more to each and every member of the cast. So please, let's start with, you're at the bottom of my screen, so we'll start with you, Jules. Talk about yourself. Or more precisely, Max, talk about yourself.
Hi, I'm Max. I'm playing Jules. Really love playing it, and I will hopefully play it for the foreseeable future. If you want to find me on anything, please find me on Instagram at YallepMax, where I do theatre. So you might see a show that I could be in, which is unlikely because I'm not doing well at it.
I'm sure that's a lie. No. If this is anything to go by, you're doing spectacularly.
Yeah, yeah. I've recently done a lot of clowning, improv, and comedy, so I'm hoping that can keep things light when Ben puts me in such a heavy mood.
Perfect setting.
Yeah, improv and comedy is definitely how this was sold to me.
Yeah.
When I signed on. Yeah,
Yeah,
Oh,
and
yeah,
it's not.
Same here, yeah.
It's
It's
my
not.
time.
I cry myself to sleep. So...
That's not normal.
It's the only way I know.
Not
how
on
to sleep.
Wednesdays, anyway.
Well, people normally cry themselves to sleep.
Holly, you spoke
Yeah.
last. You're next.
I did speak last. Yes. So, hello. I am Holly. Damn, I was going to say something and then I forgot what it was. Oh yeah. If you're really interested in my life, which I don't know why you are, you can follow me on Instagram at Holly Ida Healy, where I post the occasional music thing, not really much anymore. But keep following, and I can show you all the behind the scenes of festival work and theatre work now, because that's what I do. Apparently, since the last time you've seen me, so that's cool. Living
It's
the
been a
dream.
real productive 4 months.
Really has.
Holly's just gone off on one.
Yeah, he has. Like, none of these guys have seen me in ages. I've been like, please let me sleep. I can't sleep anymore. I want to sleep.
Bossing it.
But yeah, that's where you can find me if you're interested in any of that stuff.
Thank you very much. And Billy.
I am Billy. I have been playing whatever the hell Subil is, and I hope to continue. We'll see what that looks like in the future. You can find me here on every other Wednesday, and pretty much only here. I'll continue my age-old tradition of saying I am slowly making a separate world-building related thing. And maybe if you come back next week or next time, I will have actually done it. And then that's exciting times. So, hey, who knows?
One day, I look forward to the day I get to see this world building.
It's gonna be
So do I.
Genuinely,
it better be fucking amazing.
It better be living to
Hey.
the hype, man. It's been like over a year.
I said I was world building. I never said I was good at it. Don't put words in my
That's a
mouth.
good point. That's a good point.
I'm sure it'll be fantastic. And last but by no means least, our most recent contributor, CJ.
Hi everyone, I'm CJ. You can find me pretty much on any social media as CJ Story, and my schedule is on my Twitter as well, which is CJ Story, because you can find me in some Scion games, or Scion game on the Onyx Path. You can find me here. You can find me on Colder Than a Twitch's Wit on the Rolling Nomads. You can find me on the Beloved Nerds. So instead of rattling it off and really just betraying the fact that my life has been swallowed by tabletop RPGs and I don't do anything else or sleep, you can just check out my Twitter and find that there, and then rediscover what I've just said. Go by they them. Kylan goes by they them. I have had a really, really great time, and I'm looking forward to next week. Thank you so much for welcoming me and being such a great group to play with.
Wow, just more than welcome. Have you back many, many, many times.
Yay! It's been a very, very long time since I've done anything on the initiative order, so I'm very happy to be here.
I know they're happy to have you. That's what Danny keeps telling me anyway, the very rare opportunity I listen to him. And I, as usual, no, Danny, I see you in the messages. I, as usual, have been Ben. I write things, drink heavily, and scream into the void. Those are basically what I do. And you can find me anywhere and everywhere at Try Again Ben. Although if you ever see it update, also check the air for, flying pigs, that type of thing. And we have been Chalice, Twilight Roads, group numero uno. And thank you very much for being with us. There's going to be a lovely little reel now that comes on that shows you all of our wonderful sponsors. But for us, for tonight, we'll say good night and see you next time.
Good night.
Cheerio.
Goodbye.